The Maggie hate feels so forced, doesn't it? I'm new to the show myself, and I'm in the middle of the coronavirus season right now. And the hate Maggie gets just feels like it's coming out of nowhere. A lot of it seems rooted in racism, honestly. Sure, Maggie's not perfect. She's got her flaws. But she's also compassionate, talented, a genius, beautiful, and more. Some of the things people find annoying about her are just part of who she is, like being on the autism spectrum. Even then, she knows how to apologize and make things right. She's amazing, and the actress who plays her is amazing too. I don't get the hate. Maybe her relationship with Winston will reveal something bad about her down the line, but so far, she's been a great addition to the show. And seriously, her coronavirus season braided hair? So good. Plus, seeing her help Helm during that season was so emotional and powerful. As for Kelly's acting, no complaints there. She does a fine job. Any hate Maggie gets purely because she's a woman and black. Totally unacceptable. The real issue seems to be with the writing, though. I get why some people didn't like her when she first showed up in season 11, throwing a tantrum about Richard not immediately revealing that he's her father. And yeah, her attitude in season 13 about her mom's situation wasn't great. Mocking her for wanting implants, then pushing her into painful drug trials. Things got worse with her relationship with Jackson. Running away instead of talking things through, that's not mature behavior. She demanded to know everything about what was happening with Meredith, and got upset when she didn't immediately get the details about Alex after the DeLuca incident. Then there's the part where she runs and tells Jackson about Catherine's situation, even though she was asked not to. I'll admit, I liked her for a while, especially during her relationship in the coronavirus season. But she's still got those same old tics that make her frustrating. And no, I don't think it's about racism to dislike one character on a TV show. I initially liked her, but as her character developed, she kind of lost me. I was pumped for the idea of having a genius young prodigy on the show. That was an interesting niche we hadn't seen before. But then came the storyline where she acted selfish about her mom's cancer, which made her emotional immaturity stand out. The problem is, she's had multiple seasons since then to grow, and she hasn't really. She still comes off as selfish, whiny, and immature. She hasn't had many solid storylines since the whole Alice and Weber's baby drama either, and the whole teacher thing never really got resolved. Oh, and don't get me started on her relationship with Jackson. It was a mess. If the writers aren't giving her enough compelling material, of course she's going to be seen as annoying. I'm all for representation and love a lot of the POC characters on this show, but Maggie just isn't one of my favorites. That doesn't mean I hate her though. She does have some good moments, like the dynamic with her sisters, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, she's definitely annoying at times, and it's not about race. And sure, I agree, her braids are fantastic. But that doesn't change how I feel about her character. The thing is, it's not the Maggie hate that's the problem. It's that the character feels so weakly written. They rushed everything, her relationships, her discovering her bio parents, her bond with Meredith, her love for cardio. It's like they just threw all these traits at her without fully exploring the why behind any of it. They even rushed the letter from Ellis to her. They really dropped the ball with her character. I actually liked the idea of her being Ellis and Richard's love child, but they didn't do enough with it. Her character doesn't stand out much anymore. She came in as this young genius who was an attending when others were still interns, but after a few seasons, her genius almost seemed secondary to her focus on other people. Honestly, I miss the days when she was more about her career. Instead, they're now throwing in this forced family dynamic. She was doing amazing before she got all wrapped up in Meredith and Amelia. Why tame her character down like that? Oh, and don't even get me started on the actor's default facial expression. It's like she's constantly thinking, did I just eat something bad? But hey, that's just my take. It really grinds my gears how they introduce these new storylines, only to just forget about them a season later, or sometimes after just a few episodes. Like, what was even the point of Leo saying he's a girl, or Luna suddenly losing her hearing? They build up this huge thing, and then, poof, nothing. It's like they just swap one dropped plotline for another, and we're left hanging every single time. Honestly, I think a big part of it is that the kids haven't been front and center in the last few seasons. I can't even remember the last time Leo or Allison had any real screen time. I get it, kids' storylines aren't exactly the main focus. Luna's still dead, and who knows if Leo's still wearing dresses, but the thing is, those are supposed to be the side plots that eventually tie into the bigger picture. But nope, they just vanish into thin air once the parents have their dramatic moment. You'd think they'd at least give those storylines a little more room to breathe. Oh, Meredith's loyalty, where do we even begin? She's got a serious obsession with it, but let's not pretend it's ever been consistent or logical. First, let's talk about her wild ride with Izzy and Alex. She goes full support mode for Izzy, calling out Alex for moving on when Izzy's the one who left him. Of course, Meredith conveniently forgets that she was the one who walked out in the first place. Then, what does she do? Switch sides faster than a character in a soap opera and starts playing therapist to Alex, the same guy she wouldn't even tell that his wife, who he's been freaking out about, was back in town. Oh, and she shames Alex for sleeping with Lexi while married to Izzy, like she has any moral high ground here. She was practically cheering on Izzy and George's affair, meanwhile shaming Alex for one slip-up. Classic Meredith. But wait, there's more. She totally threw Alex under the bus after he finally realized he deserved better, just because Izzy left in the most dramatic, I'm outta here way possible. Then there's the Owen situation. She straight up harassed him for no reason, especially around his budding relationship with Christina. It wasn't her business. And don't even get me started on how she tried to cover for Weber's addiction. Completely irresponsible, but she only threw him under the bus when she thought Izzy might get her job back. She's got loyalty to everyone, but it's always at the most inconvenient times. And then the family drama. I mean, Meredith's so loyal to her trash mom, Ellis, that she actually blamed Richard for Ellis' affair. Girl, the affair was her choice, but Meredith's not about to admit that. She's also loyal to Lexi, which sure, I get, but giving up her liver for Lexi's deadbeat dad, who slapped her, was just, wow. And don't forget her loyalty to Christina. It's borderline unhealthy, but hey, at least their friendship's entertaining. Still, when it came to Owen and Riggs, she had zero loyalty to Owen. She was just playing protector for Christina, which makes sense, but it still feels like she's the queen of switching sides. Meredith does this weird thing where she always has to be the bigger person, even when she's in the right. It's exhausting. Like, she'll flip-flop so much you could write a dissertation on her loyalties. Sure, she's my favorite character too, but sometimes you just want to slap some sense into her. Now, let's talk about Izzy. Izzy fought off an unbeatable cancer, only to have her husband tell her he married her out of obligation and that he wanted to smother her to death. And then, after ignoring her DNR and bringing her back to life, he treats her like garbage when she gets home. Izzy needed space. Yeah, she probably should have communicated better, but Alex was a complete jerk. Meredith was respecting Izzy's need for space, but she didn't want Alex moving on either. It wasn't about being right, it was about trying to keep the peace between two friends. Let's not forget Meredith's relationship with her parents. She's constantly blaming Richard for her broken family, even though it was Ellis who made the choice to destroy everything. But that's what happens when you're a child of a broken marriage. You latch onto anything that makes sense, and Meredith's got an entire complex about it. And, let's be real, her hiding Richard's addiction? Not loyalty, more like self-preservation. When it comes to Owen and Riggs, Meredith was protecting Christina, not playing favorites. Riggs was a stranger, and Owen was her friend. It's not that complicated. Plus, Owen's terrible history with Christina made Meredith's distrust so justified. As for the George/Izzy drama, Meredith had a soft spot for both of them, and honestly, who wasn't judging Izzy and George? It's messy, but she tried to support them. The fact that she ended up being a neutral party makes sense given the circumstances. And her loyalty to Lexi's dad? Meredith wasn't about to let him ruin Lexi, especially after everything she'd been through. Lexi was family, even if their relationship was a bit dysfunctional. But it's clear, Meredith's always going to pick family, whether it's healthy or not. Honestly, Meredith's entire arc revolves around loyalty, even if it's a little bit misplaced sometimes. She's the girl who will pick up the pieces for her friends, but she's also the girl who'll turn on you without a second thought if you cross her, or if it benefits her in some weird way. It's messy, but it's Meredith. Season 14 definitely flies under the radar for a lot of fans, and I get why. It comes right after the big departures of fan favorites, which leaves a lot of people just kind of checking out. But for me, it's easily one of the best seasons, maybe even in my top 5. Here's why. First off, Amelia's tumor storyline, Chef's Kiss. It's by far my favorite arc for her. It adds so much depth to her character, and it's just so well done. Then there's Jolex. I mean, come on, they're just adorable. Their dynamic this season is peak couple goals. And let's not forget episode 9, which is hands down one of the saddest episodes. It's the one where Joe's ex-husband finds her, and man, the emotional gut punch is real. If you're not a mess by the end, are you even human? April's crisis of faith storyline is another gem. It's raw, it's real, and it's just one of those emotional roller coasters you can't look away from. Then there's the weed episode, yes, that one. It's absolutely hilarious. A perfect blend of absurdity and pure comedy that lightens up the season in a way only Grey's can. The finale? So satisfying. Arizona's departure was bittersweet, but I loved how they left the door open for a possible Calzona reunion. Though, honestly, a little more closure would have been nice. Something like what we got with Christina when she left. And now, I'm diving into my first rewatch of Grey's, and I can't wait to revisit Season 14. It's just that good. As for Season 9, that one definitely deserves more love too. But really, I'm with you on Season 12. It's one of those seasons that gets overshadowed by Derek's death and the inevitable weirdness that followed. But honestly, I think it's directed so well. The storylines are more consistent than what we're dealing with in, say, Season 21, but we won't even go there. It's not perfect, but the drama is prime. Ellen's acting is top tier, and there are so many subtle subplots that make it such a solid season overall. So yeah, 12 to 14, definitely underrated. Fight me. In Season 7, Episode 3 of Grey's Anatomy, Lexi definitely acts a little out of character. She usually comes across as sweet and considerate, but in this episode, she's a bit of a mess. She's super eager to break into plastic surgery. Okay, we get it, you're excited about it. But then she literally gags in a patient's face. It just feels so immature and unprofessional for someone who's supposed to be learning the ropes. I get that maybe they're setting up some kind of redemption arc, but honestly, I'm not here for it. Lexi's usually the more grounded one, so seeing her act like that just feels completely off. It's frustrating because you want to root for her, but she just doesn't seem like the same person in this episode. Alright, I think I've cracked the mystery of which Shepard's sister is Lucas's mother. Grab your popcorn, because this is about to get complicated. First, let's start with Derek and Patrick Dempsey. They were both born in 1966. A fun fact we know because it's probably written somewhere, or, etched into his gravestone for dramatic effect. Derek and Amelia witnessed their dad, Christopher Snur's murder when Derek was 16 and Amelia was 5. So Christopher Snur kicked the bucket in 1982. Tragic, really, Amelia was born in 1977 because, of course, if she was 5 when her dad died, we have to math that out. The ages of the other Shepherd sisters, who knows? They never bothered to tell us, so I'm just going to assume they all have the same birth year as their actresses. Sure, that's probably wildly inaccurate, but let's roll with it. And Beth DeWitt's Nancy was born in 1965, so she's 1 whole year older than Derek. Ooh, spicy. Niv Campbell, Liz, was born in 1973, so about a decade after Derek. Amy Acker, Kathleen, was born in 1976. So the Shepherd sisters are clearly playing fast and loose with age here. Now Lucas, let's assume he shares Nico Turho's birth year, 1996. That makes Nancy 31, Liz 23, and Kathleen 20 when Lucas was born. Yikes, talk about late starters. Derek got married to Addison at 30, when Lucas was born. Then he married Meredith, officially, and adopted Zola at 43. Had Bailey Jr. at 47, and was 49 when Ellis Jr. was conceived. Oh, and then he died. Real busy guy, that Derek. Meanwhile, Amelia had Christopher Jr., aka Unicorn Baby, at 35 and Scout at 43. Everyone's waiting until they're at least mid-30s to pop out kids. What's the rush? Now, none of the Shepherds had their kids young. Seriously, they all took their sweet time, which leads me to believe Nancy might actually be Lucas's mother. But who knows? Oh, and just to make this more interesting, Nancy lives in Connecticut. Guess where Lucas grew up? Yep, you guessed it, Connecticut. Shocking coincidence, right? But ultimately, Lucas's mom is going to be whichever actress is available to return to the show. No one cares about continuity. It's all about who's free for a cameo. Anyway, my guess? Nancy. Lizzie's out because of that whole black baby in the family comment. So yeah, that's probably a diversity no-go. From interns to world-class doctors. Everyone loves to complain about how the show should have wrapped up ages ago, but honestly, I'm all for it. Watching the characters, old and new, grow in their careers is the best part, and let's be real, that wouldn't have happened if they hadn't dragged this thing out. It's ridiculously satisfying to see a fresh batch of interns, from the Magic Crew all the way to Glasses, Levy's class, go from clumsy, clueless newbies to surgical gods in just a few seasons. These guys don't just save leaves. They're out here inventing procedures and pushing boundaries like it's no big deal. It's especially hilarious when I rewatch the early seasons. They look like babies, wide-eyed and completely out of their depth. And then, boom, they're absolute legends. It's like watching a bunch of awkward ducklings turn into swans. And Schmidt, oh Schmidt, he's come a long way. Too long, honestly. I'm so done with him, but at the same time, I can't help but appreciate his arc. I do wish there were more interns left from Joe's class, though. That group was iconic. Toothbrush sharing. Okay, let's talk about Izzy for a second. I can't get over how she flips out when Callie walks out of the bathroom without washing her hands, making her sound like she's a walking health hazard. Girl, you literally used George's tooth of Viorish in season 1. Every time I rewatch, I find more reasons to side-eye Izzy. I mean, I loved her, but seriously, there were times I just couldn't stand her. And don't even get me started on her relationship with George. She was way too protective of him, acting like some weird, jealous ex, and honestly, it was a mess. I loved her, but sometimes it felt like she was a completely different person depending on the day. Speculation. The inevitable destruction of Link and Joe's relationship. Let's be real, this show can't seem to hold onto a relationship for longer than 4 seasons, with the occasional miracle, though. Let's not even talk about Richard and Catherine, because we all know that's a shaky argument for healthy. Now that Owen and Teddy are predictably spiraling toward their impending divorce, because why wouldn't they? It's high time we start speculating again. How exactly will the writers decide to destroy Link and Joe's relationship for some juicy, pointless drama? Or maybe, just maybe, they'll finally gift us with a fourth stable couple and focus all their energy on stirring unnecessary chaos with the new residents. Wouldn't that be a twist? Personally, I think Link and Joe are endgame and will stick together unless one of them decides to bail on the show. I mean, Joe's been through enough, especially with the way Alex left. Honestly, I don't see them dragging out will they won't they breakup drama for these two. The big conflicts will probably be the usual suspects: exhaustion, too many shifts, maybe a few parenting disagreements, but nothing that screams relationship-ending disaster. The only thing that could realistically split them up: if one of the actors decides to leave, because let's face it, most relationships in this show collapse when the actor playing one half of the couple decides they're done. Murder, Jolex, Lexi, need I go on? So here's my prediction. Either one of them will die, classic Grey's move, or they'll pull some Calzona-level emotional manipulation, or, worst case, Season 11 murder drama all over again. Fun times ahead, right? Maggie and Jackson. Okay, so Maggie's mom randomly says that she and Jackson are close, but when exactly did that happen? Like, we've barely seen them talk before that episode. It's almost like their relationship popped out of nowhere with zero build-up. Am I missing something here? Nope, you're not missing anything. They barely interacted until that season, and when they did, it was mostly in group scenes where everyone's just milling about. Yeah, and don't even try to argue that they just didn't show the interactions on screen. Jackson was busy with literally everything else: April's pregnancy, her going to Jordan, the divorce, then April's second pregnancy. So I seriously doubt he was just hanging around thinking, gee, I should spend more time with Maggie. Cass, Sophia Bush. First of all, can we just take a moment to appreciate Sophia Bush being on my favorite show? Because yes, I am living for that. But also, I can't stop laughing at the fact that one of Cass's main traits is that she's great at PowerPoint. Like, what a resume booster. Forget saving leaves. Let's talk about her slideshows.